Hey, what is going on, guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at some mastery pages for junglers in Season 6 or Pre-Season 6. So I've got 3 different pages right now for my junglers. I've got an AP page, an AD page, and a tank page as well. So I'm just going to go over which champions you want to use each page on, and then I'll go over a few variations to each page depending on the champion you are playing. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So first up here is going to be my AP page. I'm thinking that Fury is definitely going to be what you want to run instead of Sorcery no matter what jungler you're playing, because when you're in the jungle you're going to be auto attacking a lot, and a lot of your damage is going to come from your auto attack. So getting those extra auto attacks in and having the extra attack speed is going to be better for a jungler than running the Sorcery. I'm going to be taking the double-edged sword here as well instead of the feast. I said in my previous video that you should take feast instead of double-edged sword when you're playing as AD carry, but I think that when you're playing as jungle, you should be taking double-edged sword because it's going to make your ganks more effective in the early game. I think that if you're playing a laner, then taking double-edged sword isn't as worth it, but if you are playing in the jungle, then taking double-edged sword is just going to allow you to gank more effectively, and it's going to allow you to just get extra damage off when you are going for ganks. So I think that double-edged sword is the better one to go for here instead of feast. Natural Talent and Vampirism are both pretty crappy masteries, so it doesn't really matter too much which one you take. I'm taking Natural Talent, and you definitely want to take Natural Talent if you are playing a champion who benefits from both AD and AP damage. So someone like Jax or someone like Diana, then definitely take Natural Talent. If you are playing a champion who doesn't have any like AD or doesn't have any AP, they only have one type of damage, then you can take Vampirism, but I'm just going to take Natural Talent on all of my junglers because the 2% lifesteal and spell vamp that you get from Vampirism really isn't that much at all. And then Oppressor and Bounty Hunter are kind of the same as these two. It depends on like what champion you're playing, it depends on what champion you're playing as to which one you want to take. So if you're playing a champion who doesn't have any crowd control, then obviously take Bounty Hunter. So if you're playing Master Yi, then don't take Oppressor since he doesn't have any stuns or slows or anything like that. Take Bounty Hunter on him. But if you are playing a champion who has any kind of crowd control, then taking Oppressor is going to allow them to gank more effectively in the early game because it's going to allow them to do more damage when they gank. So definitely take Oppressor if you are playing a jungler who has crowd control. If not, then take Bounty Hunter. And I'm taking Piercing Thoughts here instead of the Battering Blows. Take Piercing Thoughts if you are playing an AP jungler, and then take the Battering Blows if you're playing an AD jungler. And Deathfire Touch here is going to be what you want to take on your AP junglers because it's going to increase your ability power damage, whereas Fervor of Battle and the Warlord's Bloodlust does not increase your AP damage at all. And in the Cunning Tree here, I'm going to be taking Savagery. It grants you bonus damage to minions and monsters, which is definitely nice when you are in the jungle. And then the Runic Infinity here, I'm taking this instead of the Secret Stash because having your buffs for a long duration is definitely, I think it's more worthwhile than having a little bit extra like healing on your potions, because if you have that red buff for extra time, then you're going to be able to get better ganks off, and you're going to be able to gank more effectively. And if you are playing a jungler who does rely on blue quite a bit, like an Evelynn or someone who just spams a lot of abilities out in the jungle, then taking the Runic Infinity is definitely going to be what you want to take. But if you are playing a jungler who like doesn't benefit from buffs at all, not a lot of junglers do, but you can take the Secret Stash. I would just recommend taking Runic Infinity on all of your junglers though. And then I'm taking the Merciless here instead of the Mediation. The Merciless will just allow you to gank, or it will allow you to deal more damage in your ganks, and once you get that target down to below 40% health, then you are going to deal the increased damage, which will just allow you to finish that target off. And then I'm taking the Dangerous Game here instead of the Bandit. The Bandit really isn't that great of a mastery because this is more of a mastery for if you were a laner, because you gain 1 gold for each nearby minion killed by an allied champion. So you really don't want to take that when you're playing as jungle. Definitely take the Dangerous Game here. Now for my AD jungle page, really the only thing that is different here is I am taking the battering blows, and then I am taking the fervor of battle instead of the death fire torch. If you are playing in an AD jungler who does benefit from crit, or who's going to build crit, then taking the Warlord's Bloodlust wouldn't be a bad idea. So if you're going to be building crit on someone like Master Yi, or I don't know, any jungler that builds crit, then you could take the Warlord's Bloodlust there. But if you're just looking for one AD jungle page, then taking the fervor of battle is definitely going to be what you want to take. And then this tree right here is the exact same whether you are playing AD or AP jungle. And then my tank page here is a lot different from both of my other pages. I am still taking the Fury here because no matter what jungler you're playing, like I said before, you are going to benefit from the attack speed. I'm also taking the double-edged sword because it's just going to make your ganks in the early game more effective. And then I'm taking the 5 points in Savagery here as well because it's going to allow you to clear the jungle better. And I'm also taking the point in Runic Infinity here. And then I am maxing out my Resolve page here because this is the page that you would want to max out if you were playing a tank champion. So taking the Unyielding here is going to be better than the Recovery because you are going to be building like a lot of armor and magic resist if you are playing a tank jungler. So you're going to benefit from this one quite a bit. And I'm going to be taking the Tough Skin here instead of the Explorer. The Explorer it's a decent mastery, but I think that taking the less damage from champions and monster basic attacks is going to help your clears in the early game. And then taking the Veteran Scars here instead of the Runic's Armor is what you want to go if you are playing a tank champion because an increase of 4% of your total health is definitely quite good once you do get up to like 3,000 or 4,000 HP. And then taking the Insight here, I think that Insight is actually quite a strong non-keystone mastery. Having your summoner spells up is definitely going to obviously benefit you because you can look for like flash plays, you can have your smite up more often, and I think that Insight, you definitely do want to take this, especially if you are playing a jungler, because having your smite up more often is going to allow you to just jungle faster, and having your flash up is going to allow you to go for like flash plays when you're ganking. So I would definitely recommend choosing Insight instead of Perseverance. And then I'm going to be taking Legendary Guardian instead of the Swiftness here. I think that Legendary Guardian is actually a pretty strong mastery as well because it says you will get a bonus 3 armor and magic resist for each nearby enemy champion. So this is going to be really strong if you are in like an early to mid game team fight because you're going to get a bonus like 15 armor and magic resist, which is actually quite a lot. And then the last mastery here, which is the Keystone, I'm going to be taking the Bond of Stone. I think this is a really good mastery. If you're near a champion, then it's going to reduce the damage you take by 8%, which is actually quite a bit. And this is going to be really good for when you're like going for ganks in the early game because whichever lane you're ganking, you're going to get that reduced 8% damage. So that will just allow you to tower dive even better. It will allow you to just take less damage when you're ganking, and it's just going to, I think it's the best mastery out of all of these three right here. So I'm going to be taking Bond of Stone. You can take like Strength of Ages. I don't think it's really that worth it though because you can gain like 300 HP, which really isn't all that much. And I think that reducing the damage that you take by 8% is going to be more worth it than having that extra 300 damage. So that is the page I'm going to be taking on my tank junglers. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Those are my 3 pages that I am running right now on my junglers. So if you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. So thanks for watching, guys. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you in my next video.